friends, I asked Sarah, was that enough of a wrap up on the last episode, or do we have some last minute thoughts? Because we do try and keep these, you know, somewhere around 12 minutes. And if you know, sometimes we will go over. And Sarah ended, so we started having a conversation. And so I wanted to include you with that. It's Sarah, I know I used online distance education as a, what can we say? Like a hot pepper or a spice, like a black one.
Right. Sure.
And so I knew within myself, I have little patience with correcting grammar mistakes. Once we get the grammar going and we have composition, I'm a fairly good editor. But
Right.
that initial part is hard on my psyche. Well, do you know you can find people who really that doesn't grate them as much, and and they're happy to do that for you.
Yep.
She said that I would find her, these would be creative, right? And these were teachers throughout the country and sometimes in Canada. And she became a fabulous little writer doing that. But that's not what Sarah was talking about, thinking we're going to have 8-hour instruction in front of a tube. That's why we've kept our conversations, right, 12 to 13 minutes, because we know we have a
people have short attention spans. Be you adult, be you children, you know.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Sarah, you said something very similar to what Debbie says. She says to you parents to remember to breathe.
Yes.
The enemy hates homeschooling because it's a sacrificial surrender to the Father. You want to turn from the enemy to the Father, who only wants good for us. And it's an act of obedience to the will of the Father, the spiritual sacrifice, which is at the root of the fury of the enemy.
Right.
I asked her best time management ideas, and she said to do what God wants you to do. And you have that freedom to do what God wants you to do. So if it's to go to the park, because I don't know how often I did that. This is a great day.
Yes.
Let's go outside.
Yeah, we live in a northern state, so consequently we have, you know, snow days are often out there, right? But I always tell my kids, we don't take snow days, we take sunny days. You know? So yes, I think it's one of the greatest gifts of homeschooling is just the fact that serendipity still exists in a homeschool life. You know, a good thing can happen just because there's an opportunity for it to happen, right? I mean, you can, you know, a day can happen that, you know, there's a little bit of extra money in the happy day jar, as it were, right? And everybody can go out and get an ice cream cone because everybody's home. Or, you know, one child who's finished their work can come on a shopping trip with their mom, you know, whatever it is. And, you know, I think that those are like the little unlooked for graces that see you through the harder times. You know, when you're doing this home educating, the unlooked for, you know, just the affection that you get from your children. You know, because they can, you know, they're closer to you. They're not afraid to show you, especially like from your teenagers. You know, there's a lot more of an emotional, familial connection. I mean, it doesn't mean that we don't have fights. I mean, yes, I've got 4 girls in a row. Cat fights are abundant, but every once in a while there's an unlooked for moment of grace that I think, and also one of the other things that I've found, which was also a really unlooked for grace, is really the lack of sibling rivalry that is present in my family. There's a little bit of friction, but for the most part, because everybody kind of learns at their own pace, and somebody who might be interested in one thing or whatever, it crosses over generational lines. And that's sort of the same thing in the homeschool environments too, like if you're in a co-op or something like that. But I would like to assure parents that there are a lot of resources. You know, you are not inventing the wheel right now. This wheel has been rolling And I mean, this is basically a rocket ship that you're climbing onto. There's plenty of information out there for you. There's plenty of support. There are many, many friends who are willing to walk this road with you. And there are a lot of people also who are about to jump onto this moving ship in the same way that you are. But, you know, it's a happy ship. So, you know, this is a pleasant bark to be on. You know, people are motivated out of love for their children. And I don't think you can be in a really better place than that.
That's right. Community support, because that's that objective exterior that I use as a guide. Hearing other experiences, hearing about other opportunities, whether it's sports or what's happening at the zoo. That zoo membership is exactly right.
Yeah.
You know, we dropped it a few years ago. We did this. It was a mainstay in this home for many years. Yeah. Because in the botanical garden, I mean,
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of resources that parents don't even know exist in their own communities because they don't have time to take advantage of them.
You don't have time. You don't. I mean, no, you don't. You really don't, because if they're going to a school that you are, you know, a high-powered school, they're going to come home. They're looking at 3 hours of homework. Plus, they've got a sports. Plus, they've got an extracurricular. There's maybe a music instrument thrown in there.
Yep. Plays. You know, choir concerts.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Let's see.
But this is about simplification.
Let's say you have a child who has a learning disability. Maybe you feel that you have been excluded. No. Homeschooling, I mean, you know, there's the testings available. There's Debbie Yonan is expert at that. But aren't we all have our challenges? That goes back to that ability to tailor.
Yes.
To tailor.
Yep. Yeah, to tailor and to simplify. Get rid of the extraneous and go to what's necessary.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, I think we have now said all we can say.
We could go another 3 hours, Karen, but we probably shouldn't.
We shouldn't. I'm going to try and make the world a better place. I had to show this. This is me. This isn't anybody else, but this was little Felicia when she first started.
Oh,
yes.
Adorable.
Yeah. It was good. It was good.
Yep. Good years. Happy years.
Happy years. To the next time, my friends. Fides et Ratio.